shit.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back to another episode of Cop I'd Say to Mine with our post-match reaction to Liverpool 1-0 victory over Sheffield away. I'm here with Geff.
You.
And let's get straight into it. Not our best performance. We've had a stretch of performances where we haven't been at our best, but we've gotten the results, except for our loss at Napoli. But we've gotten our results against tough opponents away. Sheffield, I would consider definitely a tough place to play away. And this is what defines champions. A team that cannot look their best on the pitch, but then again come out with the 3 points. I feel like games like this last year, we might have dropped 2 points and it would have ended in a draw. But luckily today, we're able to get the 3 points. So let's take a couple of takeaways today. Obviously, we did dominate possession, but I don't think we dominated the momentum of the game.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so what stood out to you?
Momentum definitely was on the home team side. Bramall Lane we haven't really won there before. Historically, we played 3 matches. We lost both.
Really?
Yeah.
Losses?
Yeah. We haven't won there once. So the atmosphere was very Anfield-like, loud crowd. They were at the loudest once we scored the first goal. One stat in particular that Sheffield United thrive in was long passes. They lead the league in long passes. And we've criticized a particular person, Trent Alexander-Arnold, with sagging off in defense, leaving wingers wide open. And I think he was the most vulnerable today, and he was probably the weakest link in the squad.
Definitely.
But aside from that, our defenders were putting in quite the shift. Virgil put in the shift.
Amazing.
Put in the shift.
As usual.
So I think essentially we stayed composed. We did have some chances, and Gini had the nerve to just put up a volley and just luckily snuck in.
Yeah, luckily that's it. This is the luck that champions get. We saw countless times City getting results at the end of matches where you thought they didn't deserve it. I wouldn't say we didn't deserve it, but I feel like Sheffield definitely did deserve a goal, or we almost did not deserve more than them deserving a goal. I don't know if we even deserved. We deserved at minimum 1 goal. We obviously had a long ball from a beautiful long ball from Virgil that reached Mane, and he couldn't convert, and that went wide. At the end, after our first goal, we saw Salah, clear cut 1-on-1, and you would expect him to put that away with his eyes closed. Big save by Dean Henderson. Unfortunately for him, he lost control off Gini's shot from outside the box. But it rained today. The pitch is wet. The ball was wet. It was hard to connect. But as for Trent, now yes, he did have a weak game, and he was probably our weakest link on the pitch today. But I don't want to put this whole thing on Trent, because I don't know, by looking at the way the formation, what would you say that formation is the majority of the game, where you have
for us or for Sheffield?
For us it looks like we have the two center backs, and then you have the fullbacks almost playing as wing backs, and then you have obviously the mid, and then you have the front 3. So it's not only that Trent is so far up, leaving the space open. Robo is just as far up, leaving just as much space open.
Yeah, but Robo can track back. Trent seems very lazy.
Right.
He doesn't want to track back, I think. But which is sort of good. I think Klopp is trying to emulate this City-type plan where we just have players just causing pressure, staying in the team's opposing half. And I think that's been our biggest success. I think that's where our goals really come from, just causing so much pressure, causing a lot of nerve for the other teams. The only issue is that Trent, once there's a counter or lost possession, he will not track back.
You saw a lot of times, Hendo countless times, I've seen in multiple games where Hendo is actually covering that ground for Trent, because Trent is so far up. And and it's literally, that's the side that they like to exploit. I think, Ben says this week in, week out, how this is the side, their left side, our right side, where teams like to expose on offense, on counters. This is the way they like to go. And like you mentioned, Sheffield loved that long ball.
Yeah.
And they continued to play that long ball all game, and Trent got caught all game. And you know what it is? He was also making poor decisions.
Poor crosses.
A ton of turnovers. At the end, we had a scare where he wanted to clear it and went off a Sheffield striker, went out for a goal kick, I think it was right in stoppage, and that obviously scared me a little bit. But I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I'm saying in the dressing room with Klopp. He's not been sharp defensively. He's been okay offensively. He looks to be more involved in the offense than ever. And it looks to me, especially from set pieces and on counters from the right wing, he wants to get involved offensively. He wants to start scoring goals. I think he just wants to add that to his repertoire, and that's getting in the way of defense.
Him and Robo led the league in assists last season, and I think they just want to do a little repeat. And obviously, the crossing game is our forte. It's his forte. And I don't even think he's trying to score goals himself. I just think he wants to contribute as much as he can. But you have to work well defensively and offensively. It's crazy how we didn't concede a goal.
Would you say that Liverpool are struggling offensively? Because now you take a look at the last couple of matches. We take a look at Napoli, we take a look at Chelsea, and then we take a look at Sheffield today. Up until today, there hasn't been any goals from open play. As Crystal Palace go up 1-0 on Norwich, sorry, watching the game, and Wolves go up 1-0 on Watford. Chelsea, obviously Napoli, we didn't score. Against Chelsea, both of our goals coming on set pieces. We didn't really look too threatening. I honestly think we looked slightly more comfortable against Chelsea than we did today. We did dominate. You could it's up in the air. Again, both games weren't our best performances, even though we put 2 in from set pieces. But it seems to be a problem. I don't remember the last time we scored a goal on a counter. I feel like our last goal on the counter was Salah's goal against Southampton, when we were wearing the purple kits. So on counters, it seems as if, tracking back to last year, it looks like the front three are not clicking the way we used to see them click. Why is that?
I don't know. I think maybe the teams have a better read on us this season. They know that our front three is lethal. We have pace. We have creativity and skill. I honestly think, going back to the whole Mane Salah incident, they sort of switched it up and sort of fucked up the
I
playing
think so.
chemistry.
I feel like they're trying to play a little bit too unselfish at times. Today, Bobby had potentially a chance to score a clear-cut goal, I think, and he faked it, laid it off beautifully to Mane, who also should have finished, and he hit the post from point-blank range. But it's instances like that where it's kind of just
you have a shot.
You should shoot that.
Yeah.
You should shoot that. And I think a false 9... Was that Bournemouth and West Ham tied 1-1? So a lot of action going on, Premier League action going on right now.
Game is still going on.
Yeah, we're still later today. We'll see Everton take on Manchester City. Everton have 5 goals this year, so looks like that might be could be a slaughter. Another player I want to talk about, who we've been giving credit to, I think, lately, Adrian.
Yeah. He's settling in.
He's settling in, and unfortunately, he's settling in at a time where it seems like Alisson is returning back to training very fairly soon. I think after this game, they said he should be back in full training. Maybe not with the team, but with the goalkeeping coaches. So we hope to see him back soon. But before that happens, we have a very confident keeper in goal right now. Adrian, he missed a one punch at one point today on a corner, I think it was, but he's looked very sharp. He looks very confident. He's been today. He had a sweep, he swept the ball, cleared the ball, came out on a lot of air balls, brought him down. It's back-to-back weeks where he's getting yellow cards for taking his time. But in a game like that, you kind of
you have to kill time.
Yeah, you have to kill time. And that's fine. I don't even think he's going to get to the point
where he can get another
where he can get more yellows. Yeah. But he's looked very confident in the ball, and I think that's playing I think that's played a major role. His distribution has been unreal. Again, the confidence is sky high, and it's really, really great to see that. Another player in particular who's having an amazing season, Joe Matip. How much can you say about Joe Matip?
I mean, I've boasted about him so many times last season. I think he's just fantastic. He's the biggest bargain for Klopp.
Klopp said it also yesterday in the press, did he not?
Yeah, exactly.
He was asked what the best piece of business Liverpool has done since he's been with them, and he didn't hesitate to say Joe Matip. Joe Matip on a free. So again, unbelievable, immense. Him and Virgil lead the league in getting into aerial duels. It's just a sight to see.
And his take-ons are amazing.
And he's been pushing forward a lot. And I started the season, I've seen him do it last year, and I see him do it early this year, where he pushes forward, and I'm like, no. But now it's just like, I'm confident.
Yeah.
Because he knows when to get rid of it. As soon as he gets rid of it, he goes right back to defense. And he looks very, very comfortable, even in the front third.
Very intelligent player.
So, he seems like a very, very smart player, and obviously amazing piece of business for him. Hopefully, rumored him and Milner should be seeing extensions, I believe. That's kind of the talk, the rumor. So we'll see what happens along that way. Before we get into... before we get into our opponent next week, Leicester, let's get into our match ratings. All right? Yeah, let's get into match ratings now. Okay?
Should I start?
You go ahead.
So, from Adrian, I gave him a 6.9.
Sorry to cut you off. Obviously, today Liverpool went with their default lineup. Go ahead.
Oh, that's true.
Go ahead.
That's our strongest lineup. So, Adrian, I gave it 6.9.
Adrian is 6.9?
I think the yellow was a little silly.
6.9? Kept a clean sheet. 6.9. We were just raving about it. Even 6.9, I'll give you a chance to change that. Go ahead.
7.5.
All right. Thank you.
The yellow was a little uncalled for.
You needed it.
And we don't know if what's it called? Allison could be back. It's not definite.
Right, but I'm saying Sheffield was gaining a lot of momentum towards the end of the game. They almost had a shot where their striker that made his Premier League debut, who skied it over. They had a lot of momentum. I don't have a problem with that yellow card. Go on, sorry.
Anyway, like I was saying,
7.5.
7.5 for Adrian. That's my new rating.
Score. Okay.
Trent, I gave a 6, obviously, because he doesn't know how to track back. Awful crosses, and he's just sleepy at times. So I'm always going to criticize him until he picks it up. Next up is going to be Virgil. Cleaning up for Trent at times, so I gave him an 8. He put in a mighty shift. He was doing a lot of work in defense, a lot of clearances. Matip, of course, pairing up with Virgil, he's going to get an 8 as well. Robo with a very, very important stop in the second half, I believe, so he gets a 7.5 from me. Genie is 7.7. He took that chance and eventually got us the game-winning goal. Hendo 7 before he came off. Salah I gave a 5. He's been looking pretty shaky, pretty rusty.
Yep.
Losing the ball at times. He didn't finish that one-on-one. He needs to pick up the slack in the next coming matches.
Agreed.
Next up is going to be a 6.5 for Bobby. He made quite the presence. He did dribble the ball upfield, distributed nicely, but we didn't see any of that Bobby pizzazz that we're used to seeing.
that we seen early, right?
Mane gave a 6 as well. He had a presence, but nothing really to show for. For Divock Origi, our sub, I gave a 7 because he made quite the impact coming off the bench. He was willing to get that ball into the box, dribble it up, crossing it in, so he made a big impact, so I'll give that a 7. Milner, I gave a 6.5, really didn't do much, just to kill time, and of course, I really can't give him a rating for Ox, because he came on
stoppage.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what it is? I can't fully argue with
besides my Adrian rating.
I can't fully argue with all of those ratings. I think they were fairly low, but then again, that wasn't a great performance. I think I gave fairly high. I think we had good individual performances, and I'll go ahead with my scores. Adrian an 8. I've been very big save by Kepa, and Spurs up 1-0. I've been very high on Adrian the last couple of weeks. His confidence has shown, and he's grown into his role, and I'm very thrilled with him, so I gave him an 8. Virgil, my man of the match, 8.5 for me. We made him work. We saw a little curl of hair come out of place. That means he's sweating, he's running. Seemed to get a little bit annoyed with Robo at times and with his line at times, but that's normal. That's what a captain does. So 8.5 for me. Matip 8.5. Amazing. Robo 7, not too bad, not too good. He had a big block towards the end with his back foot, which looked like it saved the goal, and then he did push forward a bit as well. So that's 7 for me. Trent, my weakest player on the pitch, 6. We spoke about him. I think Klopp needs to have a talk with him. Genie with the goal, 8. Was also very good at keeping possession, getting out of trouble. So good, put in a good shift on his end today. Hendo 7.5 before he came off. Looked good all over the pitch, covered Trent a bunch of times, did his role on the pitch. Fab 8.5. What can you say? The guy is immense, all over the place defensively, pushing forward as well. I love him. Best holding mid, best defensive mid in the world right now for me. Now, to our front three, Salah gave a 7, which again could be considered pretty high. Missed some clear-cut opportunities, wasn't too good with converting dribbles. So I gave him a 7, could have been a 6.5, but again, benefit of the doubt. Mane, he seemed very involved today, even though he had 2 clear-cut chances that he missed. 7.5 from me, and then a 7 from Bobby. Origi came on in 64th minute to replace Hendo. I gave him a 7. He caused a lot of problems down that left wing. So yeah, as soon as he came on, he was immediately a force. Good to have him back from injury and as an option off the bench. And I didn't really give Ox or Milner. Milner came on like at the 87th, and Ox came on in stoppage. So those were I didn't give those matches. Chelsea on a counter. And it goes
wide
out for a corner, I think. Yeah. So let's get briefly into our match next week in our very busy October. We actually before the weekend. We actually have
Salzburg.
We have Salzburg. We have a home game against them, and they have a striker who is in incredible form.
Dean raves about the striker. I don't think much about him.
Listen, I know like he plays in the Austrian league, and that's not the greatest league.
And he also played versus Genk,
put in
even shittier league.
A first half hat trick for the guy. He's 6'3", he's big. I think he's going to cause a lot of problems for. Listen, I'm not saying that he's not a player that we can hold, but he is a very, very, very good player. Has like 4 hat tricks on the year. Has scored in all games this year for them. Also, 4 in 8 matches. The kid has 4 hat tricks in all competitions. He scores at will. He's a natural born striker, I think. He's young. He's 18. Not 18. I'm not sure what his age is, but he's a young guy and looks like a really young talent. And I think already rumored a couple Premier League teams are already keeping an eye out for him.
I'm sure Klopp is keeping an eye out for him.
So he's definitely somebody. Wow. What a save.
Super save
by Ryan on Barkley. So he's somebody we want to keep an eye on for the week our midweek match. What lineup do you think we will be putting out for that one?
Probably the standard.
You really think? No, he's got to make a switch in the mid.
He may put in.
He might start Origi.
He may start Keita.
We might see. Yeah, right. We might see one of the front 3 get a rest. If I was to guess, I would give it to Salah because it seemed like Salah is kind of going through one of those stretches, where he doesn't score and he doesn't look sharp. He started the season very, very well, but the last 2 or 3 matches doesn't really seem on top of his game, doesn't really seem to be connecting with any bit of his dribbles. So we might see Salah get a rest or Mane get a rest.
Who do you put in for Salah?
Origi. Okay, we'll see if Keita gets a start. So it'll be interesting to see what he does midweek, and I think Mayer will be attending that game.
Hopefully,
Mayer will be attending that game. So then after that, we go back into the weekend and we play Leicester away.
Yeah,
a tough match. Always.
Very tough stretch
even if it's home, Leicester is always a tough match. We're playing at the King Power Stadium. We're playing at home? We're playing at home.
Oh, we are playing at home.
Playing at home, Leicester. Sorry, my apologies. We're playing Leicester at home. So, that's okay. We've had a tough time. Last time we played Leicester was a draw, and, we know that pretty much kind of ruined our chances of winning the league last year. So Leicester Leicester at home will be not so easy, but then again, we'll see what lineup Klopp wants to put out after what he goes through with the Champions League, right? Obviously, they have Vardy, Madison.
Brendan is going to show up. Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, Brendan's going to want to get a result against his former team. But you see it. You saw it today against Sheffield. We're still perfect. We're still 7 for 7. Coming into this match, we're 6 for 6. Teams are going to come after us to break us down. Teams are going to come after us to ruin that streak, to end that streak, and we should be expecting that. Teams are not going to sit back. We saw it Norwich against City. We saw it today Sheffield against us. Teams are not going to sit back against us anymore. Teams are going to come to attack. Teams are going to come to get results.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, and it's the beauty of the Premier League. You just really never know what's going to happen. Take us away, Geff. Close us out.
All right, so that's it for our post-match reaction. It's been me, Geff, and Dean. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, follow on Twitter and Instagram.
Tattoo on the face.
Shout out Remy, and we'll see you guys soon.